I don't like Black Lives Matter. I don't f's with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter exploit the struggle, exploit the history, and really just do nothing other than complain and cry. Now, we have an article here that disputes this idea, but I'd like to get into it. Black Lives Matter is making single moms homeowners. In Louisville, the group is purchasing vacant homes for low income families to promote stability in the community and fight gentrification. Last year, Black Lives Matter Louisville began raising money to address the issue of homeownership after recognizing the impact that lack of housing was having on the black community. Uh-huh. See, they say families, but then it's just like single moms. This is written by Zenobia Jeffries Warfield. It's actually a pretty cool name. ZJW. That's pretty cool. In May, February, In May, Tiffany Brown and her children will move into a new home in the historic black neighborhood of West Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a single mother of three, naturally. Brown has spent most of her adult life in public housing. Of course, her first shot at home ownership comes courtesy of a new project by the Louisville chapter of Black Lives Matter to help provide permanent housing to transient families and low-income single mother households like hers. Okay, so Miss Brown, where's your dad? Where's the kid's dad? I tossed a little S in at the end. like, are they all from the same guy? What was that situation like? How'd you end up in such dire straits, Miss Brown? She had recently relocated to Section 8 housing because of involuntary displacement in her previous location, the result of ongoing practices of segregation and unequal access to housing based on race. Is it though? Is it? Is it? And I'm just curious about this. If you were with the father and the father was making a decent sum, then you wouldn't have to be in these circumstances. Am I missing something? The BLM project means Brown and her children not only have access to affordable housing, but now can finally own their home at no initial cost to them. Her only financial obligations will be to pay taxes and utilities on the home. She has no mortgage. Okay, you know what? Good on them. Good on them. Essentially, BLM is gifting them this house. You know what? That's awesome. I mean, she still got to pay those taxes, and yeah, she got to pay the taxes and utilities. But that's actually really good. I do want to commend. Okay, I'm not just some negative person. You do something nice for one individual person. I mean, I do want to be like, yeah, props, but problems. The 4-bedroom fixer-upper, which will be ready for moving in the spring, is a step up, she says, from where she and her children previously lived. Section 8 housing, I can guarantee that it is. A cardboard box is better than Section 8 housing. I couldn't wait to tell my kids we'll finally have our own home. Brown recalls of the moment she learned she'd be selected by the group. And we don't have to worry about anything except for the property taxes and utilities. Duh. Like, what do you mean you ain't got to worry about nothing? All right. This was the first home BLM Louisville has given away. Last year, the group began raising money to address the issue of home ownership after recognizing the impact that lack of housing was having on the black community. Thousands of homeless people, men, women, and children, are in Louisville, and there aren't enough shelters to accommodate them. Hundreds live on the street, in camps, or in their cars, many of them African American, who make up more than a third of the city's poor. Chanel Helm, the organizer and co-founder of BLM Louisville, says the goal is to address the marginalization of homeownership for black people in the city. She still has to pay the property tax. She still has to pay the utilities. If she cannot maintain these things, then guess what? This story won't be that much of a story in the year, which is why, okay, so here's the thing that bugs me out the most when it comes to housing and stuff like that. If people are making enough money to afford the housing and be able to afford to own their own home and purchase their own home, then none of this is an issue. If Ms. Brown, and please, this is victim blaming or whatever the hell, but if Ms. Brown herself, I mean, I do not know her circumstances, right?
But if it's statistically accurate, then, she could have chosen a different path for herself, which would have led for a better life for her children, and not sitting here having to worry about the generosity of others. And that's one of the biggest problems in the community. And it's not just the African American community. It's not just descendants. It's literally every it don't matter. None of the gender, race. That's why I say the word gender. I don't believe in gender. Biological sex, race. None of those things matter. What really matters most is your capacity and your character, your ability to handle and decimate information and be effective at whatever it is that you do. And so we put these people in groups, we put these people in boxes, and then what we've done is we've subsidized those boxes via Section 8 housing, via the welfare state that has, that is the marginalization. Louisville is highly segregated. Its approximately 22% black population lives mostly in the West End, where Shawnee, the historical black neighborhood of working class African Americans, emerged during and after white flight around World War II and into the 1950s. Helm describes the area now as affected by redlining, disinvestment, and crime-laced news stories. Similar to other mostly black communities across the country, it's not similar. That was a coordinated freaking plan, and everybody tries to act like there's this disconnect between all of them, but it's not. All of these communities have had black everything. Like, the leadership's been black. The people, the Board of Educations have been black. Everybody has been of color. So we're like honestly, if there is this grand scheme of white supremacy, trust me, they use black hands to carry it out. So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And instead of actually addressing these things, because some of the most important things are wrapped up in legislation right now. But here we go with Black Lives Matter. All that noise they made, right? You got a couple people some houses. All that money you raised, Soros gave you millions. Soros gave you a good chunk of change, and you were catching donations like nobody's business. And you come and yeah, all right, we want. And this is exactly what's the problem. A couple of crumbs are supposed to satiate and satisfy the collective. And no, because the collective's still catching that L. The collective's still catching that behind whooping. But BLM, Louisville, and other grassroots organizations and nonprofits in the area have been working to change that. Gentrification is what we want to prevent, says Lyndon Pryor. It's done. Chief Engagement Officer of Louisville Urban League. Oh, the Urban League. The Urban League. That's another. Like, these nonprofits suck. Nonprofit my behind. No. Well, economic diversity is part of revitalization and redevelopment in any area, he says. We do not believe that should come at the expense of the people who currently live there. The people, the history, the culture that currently exist in West Louisville, Pryor says. We don't have to lose one to gain the other. You kind of do, though. I'm sorry, but that culture is poison. I know, because I'm of the culture. It's poison. You do got to get rid of the culture. And guess what? You spent the past 30 years making sure the kids were a million times dumber. Oh my God. I like y'all kids and all, but a lot of them are really, really behind. And these schools, man, are designed to push them through. It's get them ready for prison for the most part. That's it. Just get them. Come on, little chattel. You're going to get your behind you. We going to make sure you get there one day by hook or crook. He believes that much can still be done and will be done to ensure the West End remains primarily in the hands of the people that it belongs to now. Yeah, it's literally the only people left in urban communities are people who are either paid handsomely to look the other way on the problems that we have in order to maintain the Democratic Party illusion, or you have just those without the capacity to think or reach beyond to an extent, I mean, because you just all it really is, particularly when it comes to the nonprofits and the money that nonprofits tend to pump into these areas, because there is profit to be made off of the poverty, then it's like, okay, well, I mean, you can, like, the human mind is an amazing thing, and I genuinely believe that we can convince ourselves of anything. And not, oh, society made me believe. No, I believe you made you believe that, all right? In the meantime, Helms says the lack of stable housing is breaking people apart. BLM Louisville holds the deeds to 5 other houses that have either been gifted to the group or that it purchased with $50,000 donated by the community to help house low-income families. The homes they purchased have ranged from $5,000 to $10,000 when you got millions, and again, millions of dollars in donations. My God. Donations have come from throughout Louisville. And I'm not talking about like Louisville. I'm talking about Black Lives Matter as an organization. Okay? Like, let's be real. Like honestly, here's the deal. Because when it comes, the way I see it is, the further you break it down, the easier it becomes, like the harder it is to argue. So it is so easy to just point a finger at a president, right? But then you break it down to, let's say, your governor, and then it is the governor. Then you break it down to your state rep. State rep. Then you break it down to your mayor. Then you break it down to your council rep. Then you break it down to your district leader. You see what I'm saying? Like, these are all levels. These are all insulations. It's so beautifully woven in a way. It's crazy. But these organizations and all these people who aim to do good, to an extent, you got to believe their heart's in the right place. Like, I refuse to just believe people are evil for the sake of being evil, even though I do know evil people exist. Just most people's hearts are in the right place. And I believe that the people in Louisville doing this work, I'm sure their hearts are fantastically in the right place. It's just the target is wrong. Like instead of affecting these policies, instead of sitting here demanding that we bring in decent kind of work, the handouts, it's the handouts that are the problem. It's the handouts that keep us as we are. Don't hand anybody but a decent job. That's it. And give them the money, let them be able to earn the money, put them in a position to earn the money, and good, legitimate money. Let's be real here, okay? 20 grand a year ain't cutting it. It's not going to cut it, like for the type of life that we want to, promote, to have better lives than our parents had, That's just, not in this day and age, not in #current year. The idea of providing empty houses in the city for families in need has always been on people's minds, she says. The thinking was, all these vacant and abandoned houses and buildings, why don't we just put people in them? Of course, the city is like, well, that costs money. But, she says, they're spending money on everything else. They're spending millions on dollars on when to get the effing soccer stadium, millions of dollars on a new high-rise building, millions of dollars in various different places that have nothing to do with the economic injustice that has been done to West Louisville. But that little rant that she goes on right there, it really shows her, that lack of understanding as into how that money is dispersed. There's a lot I'm sorry, but you do not understand how the inner workings of your local politics work. If you can, just be like, oh my goodness, well, they're spending millions of dollars. Yes, they are. And there are people that lobby and people that position to get that money, We haven't had that. We haven't had that type of advocacy. And sitting here just pointing the finger and going has never helped anything. All it is more empty noise. The BLM Louisville program essentially functions like a co-op, supported by funds the organization raises. Contractors, other professionals, and community volunteers donate their talent, time, and work to make it possible. For Brown, donations, handouts. You're relying on we end up having to rely on the generosity of others, and the generosity of others when you're at the generosity of others, you're at their whim. For Brown, the process of owning her first home was uncomplicated and informal. She wasn't required to fill out an application, but she had to write a biographical essay. In it, she described her struggle with drugs, kicked her addiction, and yada, yada, yada. Like, honestly, like, why'd you get? Oh my goodness, she's been 10 years clean. Why you get dirty in the first place? You know, like that's the thing. That's just really is the messed up thing about this country is that everybody loves a comeback. So let me just go this hard, but you ain't got to go that hard in the first place, particularly when you're a woman. Like if you're, I do not hate like. I don't mean to sound sexist, but it's just that you have but one shot at this, sweetie. You really do. And we have like generations of women who just wreck that shot. It was like, oh my goodness, yeah, I like his dreads. I like that swag's good. Not, hey, are we gonna be able to build? I want to build a family with this person. I want to make life with this person. Not just a little horny, and boom, he's gone. It's amazing. It really is. She's also putting in sweat equity. Next week, I'm going over there to help hang drywall, put in floors, whatever. Okay, good. Gone for her and her family are concerns of not being able to pay, increasing rents, or being evicted, displaced. No, they're not. You have to pay those taxes. Instead, she can focus on finishing her associate's degree this winter and getting a bachelor's degree while starting a career in drug and alcohol counseling to help those who face the same challenge she once did. So basically, you are adding nothing to you're not helping. You're not helping at this point. Okay, cool. Zenobia Jeffries Warfield. She's attractive. I like that smile and that hair. I've always been a fan of the curly hair. You know Cree Summer? She's like a voice actress. She was also on the show A Different World, but she has these curls. And I'm just like, love it. Anyways, yeah, so, I mean, this is basically what's taken place. This is actually a really good highlight as to what's taken place throughout the past 40, 50 years in urban America. You know, you have a program, you have have an organization, you have your nonprofit. They come through, help a couple people, you know, for the shine, put a couple pictures out there, rake in way more than they take out, than they put out, you know? Like, cause let's be real, Black Lives Matter as a complete whole organization. I know that Louisville is a cell, you know, and every time I use the term cell in such a manner, I feel like I'm talking about terrorism, but in, I guess, cultural terrorism. Anyways, like, yeah, this is what they do. They come in, help one or two people, make it look good. Like, oh, see, look at all these great things we've done. And nothing changes. Nothing really changes. And it's sad. And as far as these kids go, they are growing up without their father. They're growing up with no male influence. And that's an issue. I'm no biological male influence because there is such a... Like, why do we keep saying that uncles and stepdads are like, somehow this is just as... No, it's not. All right? It's not. There is nothing like having that link to both of your biological sets. Sorry. It's just not. And these kids deserve it, which is why it's so important. Why it's so important to dead that narrative that men and women are the same thing and women can rock the same way as dudes can. You cannot, particularly when it comes to the realm of the horizontal tango, you know? Like, it's just not. It's not in my Tommy Wiseau. But I believe that's the end of this. By all means, like it if you liked it, sub if you enjoy hearing my fantastic voice, share, because seriously, guys, come on, what Black Lives Matter done? Like, this organization, they was so rah-rah, we gonna do it, and then Darren Seals happens, then all these other, like, it's just, they disappear out of the limelight. Like, yeah, on Twitter, people was named, but in the real world, no one see you, bruh. No one see you, because it was just a fad. It was just a thing. It's a media hype up. It's the media hype train. That's it. And they've been playing us for a long time. And I'm sick of it. I really am. And if you are, or if you're not, if you want to sit there and defend Black Lives Matter, my comment section is open to you. Until the next one.